Hi, my name is Ben Sutter III, and I'm founder and owner of BS3 Radio. I've been podcasting for 5 years, and with BS3 Radio, it has grown to over 46,000 listens and downloads. I've helped hundreds of people to start a podcast by giving them the knowledge, tools, and confidence to be successful. Now I'm here to help you do the same with BS3 Coaching. So let's build a successful podcast. I will be your podcast coach. We'll be able to work one-on-one. I won't be giving you a booklet and just telling you to look over it, but we'll be working one-on-one, side by side, to either help build up a successful podcast or to take your podcast to the next level. So click the link above or below to check out the pricing. I look forward to working with you, and God bless. All right. Welcome, everyone, to Super Bowl 55 show, Late Night with BS3. Man, we got a great slate of guests on tonight. We will have Jordan Rosario. We will have Jason Feirman. We will have Al High. We will also have Denarius Locke. We will also have Speakeasy Sports. Man, we got a slew of guys coming on tonight. Also, Chief Rock of Vernon Ricks, he will be on. And if I'm missing anybody, I do apologize. But, man, the list and the guests coming on tonight are going to be great. Also, L. Bushman, Evan Bush, and that about wraps it up. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Late Night with BS3, Super Bowl 55 edition. I had to get a panel on because we got a lot to talk about. Also, we have the awards being given out tonight as well. So we will touch base on those. Shout out to Vernon Ricks. He says, I'm in the backstage. Go ahead and click so you can join in. Appreciate you, Lucas Gunn, for coming through. As guests are coming in, just to let you guys know, the YouTube channel is now monetized, so you can give to or support BS3 Radio with the YouTube channel with super chat or super stickers. You'll see that scrolling down below there. But let me bring in two of the guests are here so far. Bring in my man Jordan.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on, man? Glad to get you back on Super Bowl edition.
Absolutely. It has been a while since I've been on the BS3 Radio, just talking sports in general. Man, how you been?
Good, man. Good, man. I see you've been grinding with the 4X and doing your thing with that. So shout out to you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I really have a great opportunity here with Gobi Trade House, so I've just been really busy on that. But I always love to come back to my my second passion, talking about sports, and so I appreciate the invite tonight, and I'm looking forward to the show.
Awesome. Let's bring in my man Jason.
Hey, what's up, boys?
What's going on? I like the jersey in the background.
Jason? Come on now, I don't know which way to turn. The mirror makes me confused over here. Yep. The whole Feirman name, everything, number 12. Maybe it'll be like an Aaron Rodgers thing coming over here and all this stuff now that he kind of wants out. So we'll see. But yeah, man, great to be with you guys. Love it.
Definitely. Also, let me bring in my man Chief Rocka, Jersey Vernon. What's going on? I don't know if you can hear us.
What's up, Chief?
How you doing, Chief?
It's happened the last time. He can't hear us. But what? Okay, there you go.
There you go.
What's going on? Glad to see you again, especially with the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a great Super Bowl. First off, but before we get into the Super Bowl, you guys introduce yourselves. Jordan, you go first.
Absolutely. I'm Jordan Rosario, co-founder and co-host of the Keeping It 100 podcast. We've been taking a bit of a hiatus, for the past couple of months because I've been really focused on my other career, other passion of Forex trading with Gobi Trade House. So, I always love to talk about sports, always love to make guest appearances such as this. I am also a affiliate of the X Squad Radio, just like my man Chief Rocka. So I'm definitely excited to be on, and I appreciate Ben for giving me the opportunity to come on tonight, talk a little Super Bowl, and hopefully see Tom Brady get another ring.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, Jason.
Yeah, Ben, you're the man, bro. I always appreciate it, man. Jason Feirman at Sports Profit 1. That's the number 1 on Twitter. And we got the 3rd and 3 podcast every Wednesday night. Me, Damian Adams, and Tricky Nikki G over there doing her knowledge with Nikki. We have a great time, all different segments. And then, I'll run my own podcast, the Power 32 podcast. I was lucky enough to have George Teague on last week, so we got deep into a lot of things. He's from Alabama, so they won another championship. Obviously, he's all giddy and happy, but worried about his Cowboys a little bit. That's a whole different story over there. Really? But things are good, man. Things are great.
Oh, man. You know what? You ain't even got to introduce me, man. This is number 1 Chief Rocker Jersey Burn from the number 1 Chief Rocker Jersey Burn recap entertainment show every Monday from 10 to 1, and Thursday I do a sports therapy show, talking about all sports, have people call in. If you need therapy about your team or whatever, I'm going to give it to you, you know what I'm saying? Or either the chat room will help out and give it to you. But Jason and Jordan, listen, man, after the Super Bowl, we're going to talk about this Super Bowl. Call my show Monday. My show is the first thing steaming after the Super Bowl. It's 10 o'clock Monday morning. Ben will give you the number. Call the show, man, so we can kick it, right? But in the meantime, in between time, the last time I was on this show, didn't I make some good prediction, Ben? I mean, my whole theological reason about Tampa Bay and Kansas City winning the games, it came true. Just about everything I said. So just tonight, y'all gonna be surprised tonight. So we just keep rocking.
All right.
That's why they call me the Rocker.
That's what's up.
Let's go. So I'm excited about the Super Bowl. I think this Super Bowl may have the best ratings. Earlier on Courtney Harden's show, Nathan Ramachandra mentioned that he thought that this Super Bowl was going to have the best ratings, and I actually agree, man. You got old GOAT versus young GOAT. I think Patrick Mahomes is coming up into that upper echelon of quarterbacks. Let me give a quick shout out to Darlene April. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. Everybody that's tuning in on the BS3 Radio Facebook group, you do have to, if you want to have your name shown, because right now it's going to say Facebook user, you just got to go in and click and follow some directions with StreamYard. But we're streaming on multiple platforms tonight. So Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, also the Facebook group. So, and we should have some other people coming on, but we will continue to rock out with what we have. All right. So I want to first start off with, who did you guys have in the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year? And did it match, these two teams? So first off, I go with myself. I didn't really pick any Super Bowl picks. I did say the Chiefs. I didn't know who was going to come out from the NFC, but we see what the results are now. But Chief, I'll go to you first. Who did you have at the beginning of the season?
See, y'all gonna say I'm lying, but I have the tapes to prove it, right? Last year I picked Kansas City and the Giants because I'm a Giant fan, right? My heart was with Big Blue. We didn't make it. Kansas City made it, and they won it. But I had Kansas City winning the Super Bowl over us because they just that good. This year I had Kansas City, and being that Tom Brady, because right now I'm waiting for a guy to pay me $50 because he told me Tampa Bay would not make the playoff. He still owed me $50, so I'm waiting on that. I had Kansas City and Tampa Bay making it. I was kind of hesitant between Tampa Bay and New Orleans. I said, whoever come out that division with momentum will win and go to the Super Bowl. And that's what Tampa Bay did. They came out with momentum at the end of the year and win. I have this on tape on my show, so y'all can always go back to my show, go for this network, Speaker.com, pull the show, and that's like the beginning of the season. That's what, September? Go all the way back to September and pull the show, and you'll see what I said is true, because I take down everybody's predictions, and that's what I said. But we're gonna have something different tonight.
All right, Jason.
Nice. Well, hey, listen, I didn't nail it like Chief over there. I mean, that's real impressive, man. Way to go. I mean, no matter how you look at it. Yeah, I kind of went with my heart a little bit, but obviously I didn't expect all these injuries. I thought the 49ers would have been the best team with their defense. Obviously, so injury. But I picked Baltimore in the AFC. I thought coming off last year, Lamar would get better, finally win a playoff game, which they did. But, clearly they were no match for the upper echelon teams. I mean, only scoring 3 points against Buffalo didn't work out so well. So I was really high on Baltimore at the beginning of the year. So that was my pick, and I totally whiffed on it, man.
I mean, it wasn't a
Most
bad
people
pick.
did.
It wasn't a bad pick. It's just that when you want to pick Baltimore, the main thing you got to think about is, all right, Lamar Jackson, his talent. His talent is to create and make plays. Okay. If you look at the wide receiver situation last year, that's why Tennessee beat them. If you looked at the wide receiver situation last year, it didn't get no better this year. Your main receiver was Brown. And what have he done? This is second year in the league. You got to go out there and get somebody.
True.
Not
Yeah,
much.
they missed Mark Andrews for a little while. That's his main target. And, I know that they're mostly a running team, but I get what you're saying, man. It makes sense. They got to get one of them bigger guys, and maybe they'll go after a wide receiver in the first round. We'll see. Obviously, they're drafting kind of late, but, yeah, we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah. Courtney says Seattle versus KC. I mean, I would have been definitely a good pick. I mean, and Russell Wilson, the way he was playing the first half of the season, that should have been the pick. But the second half, they kind of crumbled.
Yeah, Wilson was my preseason MVP, so I can't argue with that.
Yeah. All right, Jordan.
Yeah, speaking of Seattle, that was my NFC pick going into it because I thought Russell Wilson, he was going to ascend to that next level. I mean, he's already doing, Russell Wilson things, and we saw that in the first half. And then all of a sudden in the second half, the Seattle just fell apart completely. I don't know what happened. They looked exhausted, and the way that they got ramrodded by the Los Angeles Rams at home, that was a real surprising loss, and no one, I did not expect that whatsoever. So, I was disappointed in that. And of course, Denver didn't do anything this year, which is a little disappointing. But from what I've been hearing, the quarterback position is going to be very interesting to talk about for the next couple of months. I've been hearing around the rumor mill that Deshaun Watson, we might be in a play for Deshaun Watson, which interesting. And, we're going to have to probably give up a king's ransom for him, but I wouldn't be disappointed. I wouldn't be shocked, or I wouldn't be sad if we did that, even though I really love Drew Lock and I think he could have a great promising year. It reminds me kind of the story between, what happened with Tim Tebow and Peyton Manning. Obviously, Drew Lock's a better quarterback than Tim Tebow, but, for Deshaun Watson to have that Peyton Manning-esque type, and especially with him being so young, that'll be interesting to talk about. But coming to, going on back on track with the Super Bowl prediction, Seattle, that was disappointing. And then my AFC pick, even though I had Denver winning the division, I kind of didn't, I didn't really expect them to get to the Super Bowl. My pick was actually going to be I actually was going to pick the I was going to pick the Baltimore Ravens too.
Oh, all right.
Please do that.
It came off a 14-2 year. You expected maybe a little bit more. So I hear you, man.
Yeah. All right. Somebody says Wentz to Chicago is pretty close. It looks like Foles is back in Philly. And for those of you in the Facebook group, you do have to follow some steps with StreamYard so we can see your name. But that's an interesting, conversation with things going on today that Wentz is going to be shipped out of there. And Jordan, to your point, every team should be interested in Deshaun Watson, except about 6 teams, just frankly.
Hey, Ben, I said that early, Thursday on my show? I was messing with Microwave. I was like, Microwave, tell me what team should really want Wentz? Because right now, the coach they brought in there, he will not be able to fix Wentz, especially when you got Jalen Hurts there. How you gonna fix him? Philly is just next year. Philly be in last place, but this is my thing, right? I said Chicago would be, to me, the only team that could really use Wentz because they have talent, and he will probably get his confidence back going to Chicago because the coaches there will ease them into it. Because look, they brought Foles over there. He took Trubisky's spot. Trubisky is gone. It's about 5 or 6 teams want him. And like Jordan said, it's going to be 18 quarterback changes this year. 18. But what I'm mad about is, why haven't my team offered Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, and our number 11 pick in the draft to Houston? Because Houston likes sucker backs. They would love Saquon Barkley. And then Daniel Jones is the type of quarterback they want, really. And that 11th pick, they have a high pick. They don't have a pick. I know other people can give bigger picks than that, but to get a Saquon Barkley, a running back that they haven't had, that would be good. And the only reason I say get rid of Saquon, but we have other draft picks. We're lobbied to get, and the way we position, the kid out of Alabama.
Devontae
Jones.
No, the running back.
Oh, Najee Harris.
Right. And with the 11th pick, we're going to get the wide receiver. But if we get that 11th pick up, we have to look down further for a wide receiver. It's about at least 18 wide receivers that's coming out the draft this year. So if a team can't get a wide receiver, something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's going to be interesting coming up for sure, because you got a lot of quarterbacks that are either retiring, some that are leaving. There's a lot of situations and a lot of storylines going into this next year. So that brings me to my next point. What are some storylines in this Super Bowl coming up? I mean, obviously Brady, 10th Super Bowl. I'll give mine first. I think one of the biggest things is AB, who got basically ousted by the Steelers, right, and then Le'Veon Bell, who got ousted by the Steelers, and in the Super Bowl. Yeah, and all of the Steelers players, fans, and everybody's watching it from home. Right. And I think that's one thing I'm interested to see, because one of them is going to get a championship ring, and who knows how much longer they have in the league. So, Chief, I'll go to you first. What are some storylines you want to touch on?
The main storyline that I really want to touch on is Kansas City, man. I mean, you got a young quarterback. All their receivers besides Sammy Watkins are young. Kelsey is the oldest, but he's still young, So my thing is, when did you stop him? Because it ain't like his players going to want to go to Kansas City and play. That's for one. They got 3 running backs right now. All 3 running backs, besides for Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell is not that old, but the other 2 running backs are young, So where could you put other people on that team? The receiving core is set, because they got a guy number 13 who will take Sammy Watkins play. Watkins can't come back because he's hurt too much. He's up in age. Watkins gets his last Super Bowl and go and move on. But Hardman is faster than Tyrod. I mean, that's his name, Tyrod Hill.
You talking about Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek Hill.
Really?
Tyrod. I'm thinking Tyreek Hill. He's faster than Tyreek Hill. So you got 2 receivers like that as young, and they all can play special teams as running back, kicks or punts. So Kansas City is not going nowhere. I don't care what nobody say. They're going to win the Super Bowl this year, even though my pick is different than what I'm saying right now. But they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, and I can't see them stopping, man. That's like a well-oiled machine. If Andy Reid stepped down, everybody talk about the enemy not getting a job. His job is right where he at. The enemy don't need to go interview for nothing. Stay in Kansas City. That's your job.
And that's a good point, because who knows what the situation is there. Andy Reid may be thinking of retiring. Yeah. So what better guy to hand the keys to than Bieniemy? And maybe that could be why he hasn't gotten the job. Right. I don't know, but if I was him, I would stay there. If it was 1 or 2 years, I would stay there with the Chiefs. That would be a perfect job. Real quick, let me give a shout out to Peter. He said pro foot history. He's out of UK. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate that, my friend.
Peter's a good guy.
Oh, good. Jason, what's your storylines?
I mean, there's a bunch, but I'll bring out one, I guess, unorthodox one. We talk about like the most important, player person in this game. Is it Brady? Is it Mahomes? Is it Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Is it going to be Antonio Brown? Is it going to be on defense? Jason Pierre-Paul or maybe Tyrann Mathieu? I think the most important person in this game is not playing the game. He'll be on the sideline, and that's Todd Bowles. I am really
I like that.
I can't wait to see how because again, now we're going second time around. They played them already, and they adjusted well in the second half, even though they lost the game. Without Eric Fisher and without, Schwartz on the other side, having a weaker offensive line, Travis Kelce having a chip a little bit, I can't wait to see what Bowles, the way he attacks. Is it 4-man and dropping 7 guys back, playing man coverage and having, 2 overs, so, 2 over the top and play man coverage. So I'm really looking forward to see that because he's got the players. I mean, look, we can name the whole roster right now. The players are there. So if he's got them in the right position, they can win this game. And not only that, that'll bolster him up for another head coaching job, not next year, but the following year.
Better than the Jets. The Jets.
Absolutely. You should not coach for the Jets. That is just a cesspool of sadness.
That's a sin. Just like anybody going to the Lions. Sorry for Lions fans out there, but
the good thing is they stacked up on picks.
They did.
They use them right. That's the thing. You can get as many picks as you want. But
that
organization, Carlos Rogers and a bunch of wide receivers, that may be a problem.
I mean, that's not to get sidetracked, but they never went to a Super Bowl. They're like the first team in NFL history, and the last time I remember them being any sort of significant was 1991. Barry Sanders. They went to the NFC Championship, and they've been ghosts since, except for that 0-16 season. I mean, God, what a horrible franchise, man.
They wasn't even good when it wasn't no Super Bowl. Remember, teams just used to win championship. Shit, the Giants got 4 championships back then, and they don't have none.
Cleveland, Giants. Yep, those are the teams. They obviously. Yep, no doubt.
Yeah. Let me give a shout out to H-Rap B. Thank you for tuning in into the Bench podcast. Jordan, we'll go to you. What's some storylines you got?
Absolutely. Well, I will say this: if Kansas City wins the Super Bowl, first, I'm going to be depressed as heck. But I'll leave that for another discussion. And then second, you got to really talk about Kansas City. I mean, they've got one of the best quarterbacks, a great wide receiving crew, a great tight end, great running backs. I mean, Chief Rocca brought it up. They're a well-oiled machine. I like to think of them as the next Golden State Warriors of football. Yeah. That's something that I'm going to keep my eyes on. And then also, let's talk about, we talk about Brady Mahomes, young GOAT versus old GOAT. There's also a GOAT, other than the quarterback. I think Kelce is starting to become one of the best tight ends in the league. So him against Rob Gronkowski, that's definitely going to be an important matchup for me. Also, head coaching matchup. Andy Reid, yes, we could talk about him potentially getting a second Super Bowl, but Bruce Arians, a well-respected head coach as well in his own right. Him having to coach guys like Ben Roethlisberger, Andrew Luck down in Indianapolis, and then Carson Palmer when he was coaching in Arizona, and now him getting his opportunity to go into his first Super Bowl. I'm definitely keeping my eyes on that, and I definitely hope that Bruce Arians gets his first Super Bowl ring tomorrow night.
Hey, give him even more respect, man, because he was there with Arizona. He went that one time with Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good head coach, man.
Against the Steelers, right, that year?
Yeah, he can get it done.
Yeah, wow, I totally forgot about that. Great point. Sean Feirman, he's on Facebook. He said the Chicago Bears are about to lose a lifelong fan if they trade for Wentz. Well, get ready. Get ready to jump off.
It's gonna happen.
It's happening. Now the Colts is the other location.
Yes.
I mean, we talk about Frank Reich. We talk about, the success that he truly had was when that was his quarterback's coach. And who are you more closer to than, your quarterback coach? So, that's a good point there. Also, those of you tuning in on the Facebook group, Anthony Lansden, thank you for coming through. Make sure you guys click on the special directions, StreamYard.com/Facebook, so we can see your name, or I'll be checking, on Facebook. But coming into this Super Bowl, man, this it wouldn't be it's not a more storybook matchup than this. For the Patriots, the Bucs are playing in their home stadium. The first time we've ever seen that. Tom Brady with a new team, and then Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team they're just on a roll to just be on a run for the next 5 to 10 years, maybe, if everybody stays healthy, depending on how you put this team together. So that's there's a lot of major things there. Going into this game, a lot of people are putting Tom Brady on the pedestal, which I think he should be, but at this point in time in their careers, and I think I know what you guys are going to say, but I just want to ask it: who's the better quarterback, Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady?
Yeah, Jordan.
Jordan.
I mean, I'll say this. Tom Brady came in a different era. I mean, when he was winning Super Bowls, remember the Patriots teams had great defenses. Now he did have to get some game-winning drives in order to win the Super Bowls. I will definitely say that is 100% fact. But with Patrick Mahomes, I mean, you're talking about a guy who throws 50 touchdowns in his true first season and has thrown, at least 25 plus touchdowns moving forward. I think it was 30 when his first Super Bowl year. Now, the touchdown production, I believe, did decline just a little bit, but, they had so many weapons. It's hard to give Patrick Mahomes, time to get those opportunities. But the kid is only 25. The kid is only 25, so he's not even in his prime, which scares me a little bit as a Broncos fan that I'll have to actually see this particular man for 10 plus years. It gives me hard anxiety every time the Chiefs have to play the Broncos with this kid, because I will say this: he is the best quarterback on this planet, and that is 100% fact right there. So
yeah, and question marks from YouTube says all-time Tom Brady. I agree, all-time Tom Brady. But at this point in time, I'm saying right now, tomorrow, I would have to go with Mahomes, just because the young, he has legs, he has fresh legs. I mean, he's been able to scramble since he's been in the league and throwing sidearm passes. I've never seen Tom Brady do that, and Tom Brady's been in the league for a while. But Jason, I'll go to you.
Yeah, I mean, look, what Tom Brady lacks in athleticism, he makes up for with, mind games or whatever you want to call it, his ability to look off defenses, shrug his shoulders, slip in the pocket, whatever it may be. But come on, I mean, this is obvious. Patrick Mahomes is head and shoulders, and I think he does commercials for them, so I just, spotted him above everybody right now. The only guy close to him is Aaron Rodgers. So that's not even a debate. Quite honestly, it's Patrick Mahomes without a doubt. He's the best quarterback in the league, and I've never seen anyone come on like him except for maybe Dan Marino at that time, and he doesn't even have the hardware that Mahomes does. But again, just all time, I've defended Aaron Rodgers and guys like John Elway forever, because I've never seen guys like that on the field before in my life, and Patrick Mahomes fits in that category. But when you go to 10 Super Bowls and you've already won 6 and you can win a 7th, obviously all time, I don't think that there's an argument left to be made about who is the GOAT. And Mahomes is the only guy that I can see right now who can possibly get there, because he can get his 2nd Super Bowl tomorrow. Yeah. And he's 25.
And that's fast. Getting 2 Super Bowls that fast, I think, is crazy. All right, Chief.
You know what, Ben? That's one of the most trickiest questions that you can ever put out there, due to the fact that Brady been through 3 decades right now. He'd have been through 3 decades. So this decade is a whole different decade than the ones Brady came through. So Patrick Mahomes never played in those. So right now, if you just say that, it's easy to say Patrick Mahomes, because he's the best quarterback to get down the field less than 2 minutes. And that's if there's 2 minutes left in the game and you want a quarterback to get down the field, he's the best to do it in the NFL right now out of 32 teams. But if you want to, like Jason said, if you want to go by using this, the best quarterback to use this is Tom Brady. Because while Patrick Mahomes will get close to out of bounds before he do something with the ball, Brady been there already did something with the ball. If you play Brady, he done did something with the ball already. He's not going to sit back and do all that burning up energy. You know, that's how you get hurt as a young quarterback, burn up a lot of energy. You know, you got to start making better. If Patrick Mahomes start making better decisions quicker, then they won't be beat the next couple of years. But that's what's going to develop with him within the time period of coming, you know, these years coming up. He will get better at that. But right now, he's the best quarterback. But later on down the line, when we decide who you want to pick for the Super Bowl, I'm going to tell you why I make my pick.
Okay.
Something to be said about Tom Brady, by the way. He is, 43? First year with this team. He has to go to Washington. He has to go to New Orleans.
That's like Eli.
To Green Bay. And I'll tell you what, New Orleans and Green Bay are tough places to play if you're an opposing team. So for him to do all that and get to a Super Bowl, kudos to Tom Brady, because that is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and stepping in day one, you know it was going to be some struggles. I knew it wasn't going to be right off the gate because people just thought, oh, he's going to come in there and he's just going to be the Tom Brady of old. It was a whole new team, and everything. But still, to go through all those struggles and make it back to the Super Bowl in your home stadium, the first team ever to do it, I think is great. So yeah. Now let's go to the matchups of the teams. Offense, you know, I don't think it's any question Chiefs have the better offense. We already went down the list of everybody they have. They got 3 running backs. You can even go with Darrell Williams, who doesn't really get that much run. Right. He would even do great if you put him in a starting lineup. So offense, I think you got to give the lean already to the Chiefs. Defense, though, I think we could have a conversation because I like Devin White, and Devin White is single-handedly won at least one game during the playoffs. I think he had 2 picks in one game, had a 4th fumble. He's been saving Tom Brady's butt in these playoffs. So, but that conversation, I think you may have to give possibly. I think you still got to give the lean to the Chiefs, though. The secondary, I think, is better. I don't know that the linebacking core, I think, is better, and then the D line you may give a lean to Tampa Bay because of with Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaq Barrett. But Jason, I'll go to you. What would you give a lean to on the defensive side?
If I'm leaning, then the seesaw is flipping over to Tampa for me. I mean, it's not just, they got Jason Pierre-Paul, and then you got Shaq Barrett coming off the line. Then you got to deal with Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea. So they only got to rush 4 guys. Then you're talking about Levante David and Devin White. I mean, first of all, again, if you're just rushing 4 and you're getting to the quarterback, especially with the offensive line issues that we went through with the Chiefs, I mean, their secondary has been playing great. When I go back to that Green Bay game and I look at those sacks, those were coverage sacks. They were coverage sacks. That's the reason why they got to, Aaron Rodgers as easily as they did. Yeah. So the guys playing back there, and now Antoine Winfield Jr. is coming back, and you got Murphy Bunting and Carlton Davis. All these guys have stepped up at the right moment. So while I do like the Chiefs, and it is to be noted that Spagnuolo, when he was coaching with the Giants, is 3-2 against Tom Brady. So there's something to that. He can scheme against him. There's no doubt. But I mean, overall, honestly, from top to bottom, despite a guy like Chris Jones and Frank Clark, who is up and down sometimes, I think Tampa's got it. And look, defense still wins championships. Will it win this one? I don't know. But to me, it definitely tilts in their favor, Ben.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Chief.
And man, y'all didn't went over everything that it is to be said. But it's one thing, right? Kansas City is missing 2 tackles. They have been missing 1 around the last 3 to 4 games of the season. So they replaced him. The guy was doing so good so far. Now they just lost the other tackle, right? So this is my thing. Shaq Barrett and JPP Paul, which I feel the Giants gave up on too quick. I was loving them when he played with the Giants.
The Broncos gave up on Shaq Barrett too.
And once he blew off his fingers, it was like
And one thing about it, he went to the Super Bowl with them and helped them.
Yeah, right. 2.5 fingers. Yeah.
My thing is, the Packers had their whole offensive line except for one person. the person that was blocking Shaq Barrett. The person that was blocking JPP Paul was the replacement. But it seemed like every time Tampa Bay went into the huddle for defense, Shaq Barrett and JP Paul said, listen, I'll meet you at Rogers. I'll meet you at Rogers. We'll be there at the same time. We're going to go have a hamburger. And it's like if nobody was blocking them. You know what I'm saying? They was getting in there like nobody was blocking them. So my thing is Patrick Mahomes is going to have to use his head to try to manipulate and get around in that pocket. Because these two guys is coming at full blast. This is the last game of the season. No more football after this. You're going to give your all. If it takes you to bite, kick, punch, whatever, to get to Patrick Mahomes, that's what they're going to do. Yeah. And like you said, the rest of the defense is solid, man. They played with 2 substitute safeties and didn't get burned. You know what I'm saying? They did not get burned. Devontae Adams did not have a field day against Tampa Bay that game. Oh. You know, maybe because Rodgers was seeing ghosts or whatever, but he wasn't having a field day, and they was making sure of that. So it's gonna be pretty interesting, man. And like you said about Tar Bowles, you look at Spagnolia, man. It's gonna be a defensive battle. The only thing about it, mistakes is gonna happen, and teams are gonna score. Yeah, it ain't gonna be no 45, 35 points scored like a lot of people say. I predict the game to be probably 27-23.
Okay.
Hey, Ben, I wanted to add something real quick while I totally, again, tilt toward the Bucs, and I hope I'm not stealing any Jordan's thunder over here, but the best defensive player in this game will be on the Chiefs. Tyrann Mathieu, to me, is the defensive player of the year.
Yeah,
unfreaking believable. But so, Jordan, I hope I didn't steal any thunder there on that one, but I had to get that in quick.
Well, listen, putting all of my Denver bias aside right here, it's a tough matchup to call out. You've got 2 great quarterbacks. You've got, really, in my opinion, 2 great offenses. And defenses, I got to respect. I mean, let's not forget about Steve Spagnuolo. He knows a thing or two about playing Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I'm going to come back to you, Chief Rocca's Giants in 2007. I believe Steve Spagnuolo was the D coordinator back then. Am I right?
Yeah, he won 2 Super Bowls, yeah.
So he knows a thing or two about defending Tom Brady in a Super Bowl. Now, defense wins championships, then absolutely I'm going with Tampa Bay. In fact, that is my pick. But let's not forget, this could be an offensive shootout. I mean, and if it goes the way of the New England-Philadelphia game just a couple of years ago, the Kansas City has the potential because I think that Patrick Mahomes at this point in time could outduel Tom Brady in a shootout. So gotta be careful with that. But overall, I think Tampa Bay wins this one. I'm going to give it a relatively decent scoring, a 30-27 game.
Yeah. Let me give a shout out to OGJ Nay. Thank you for coming through. He said, I love the show. Keep up the hard work. We appreciate that so much. And I think, Jordan, you kind of touched on a point with what were you saying? With the Bucs. And I think it's gonna be extremely important for to not get into a shootout. That's what the point I wanted to touch on, because the last game, Tom Brady was, I don't know if he was forcing the ball. I don't know what was going on, but 3 picks in the second half. You cannot go into this game and throw 3 picks and expect the Chiefs not to capitalize on it. That you cannot do that. So I don't know what the deal was the last game. It looks like he was just trying to force the ball in. But also, I think if you get into a shootout, that's the wrong game you want to go into when it comes to the Chiefs.
Right.
But, and then Spagnuolo, I think, is going to be key in this game because he knows the game plan against Tom Brady. And obviously, it's to rush the quarterback. Tom Brady's not mobile. Tom Brady's not one of those that's going to be sliding around. He does a quarterback sneak every blue moon. And so it's probably not going to happen this game because, I just said it. But
the thing what the Giants did against Tom Brady was Tuck and whoever else was in the middle.
Straight and Manura.
They was on the end, but it was Tuck and somebody else in the middle. Tuck is really a defensive end. They put him at tackle just for them games to rush Brady. they was pushing in, so he could never step up. And like you said, he's like Eli with 2 left feet. You can't get lateral too tough. Brady can step this way in, or straight up. If you got that area covered, he don't have no way to step up, and his passes is in the fix. You can't get his passes off to the people he want to get them to. So it's gonna be tough, man. This is a game right here where we can sit here and say this, that, but we won't know until tomorrow.
That's true.
Ben and Jordan, you guys hit it right in the head. The higher the game is, the higher scoring the game is, the more in favor it is of the Kansas City Chiefs. There's no doubt about it. I totally agree with that point. I will say this one thing, Brady with the 3 interceptions, one may have been Evans' fault, but besides the point, those 3 interceptions in the second half, Tampa's like, here, take the game. And you know what? The defense said, nah, not going to happen. To step up and to be able to stop them in those situations, phenomenal. Despite the terrible coaching by Matt LaFleur.
Well, hold up. Do you think if he would have not kicked the field goal, would they score? That's you don't know. Would they have scored if he didn't kick the field goal?
Can't count out Aaron Rodgers, right? You got to think.
Aaron Rodgers was down there another time when he could have walked into the end zone, but he's trying to find a man. You know what I'm saying? So they had this man rattled. And see, a lot of people is not trying to blame Aaron Rodgers. Everything is going on the coach. But the coach is like, yo, man, play your game. He didn't play his game. He did not play his game. Am I right, Ben?
Yeah, you're right. I think it's almost like they didn't want it. Like, Aaron Rodgers is obviously one of the best. But to have the ball handed to you 3 times, and I think they only got a couple of field goals or maybe 1 field goal out of it, that's a problem from the coach to Aaron Rodgers to everybody. It's because that you got to capitalize on those opportunities, and that may be the reason why Aaron Rodgers is asking for more money, or the reason why Aaron Rodgers wants out. I don't know what the full story is on it, but him and Matt LaFleur, I don't think they ever really seen eye to eye. I think they had some good games this year, which kind of brushed over, the storyline and the tension. But at this point, losing a game like that, I think the tension just increased even more going into the offseason.
It was so funny. Remember during the regular season when Green Bay got stomped by Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay, and everyone thought, oh, this is an aberration, calm down. Well, we just saw, Tampa Bay do the same thing in Lambeau Field, and Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to hate on the guy. He is definitely one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen play. But to go 1-3 in the NFC Championship games, it's pretty damning, and it's an unfortunate statement I have to make, but I have to put the history out there.
Yeah,
that's fair, and you can't use them being on the road as an excuse. That just doesn't. They don't hold up anymore. It don't. So I totally agree with you. And they had their road game, their home game this year, and they couldn't get it done. So, no, I'm
gonna tell you what Green Bay gonna do. You remember when Kansas City drafted a guy named Patrick Mahomes, and you had Alex Smith there. Patrick Mahomes carried the clipboard for the whole season. The only game he played that season was the last game of the season, and he did pretty good. So I look for Jordan Love to be the quarterback next year, and Aaron Rodgers is going to be on the 49ers. He's either going to be on the 49ers or the Colts.
That's a hot take right there.
No, but his first one,
Jason loves that.
Oh, all day, man. In 3 years, $5 billion. I don't care. I'll take it.
Yeah. Oh man. And he was looking over his shoulder too. When Jordan Love got there, he was clearly pissed off that Jordan Love was there. But at the end of the day, it's an organization, and they have to decide what's best for the organization. They did the same thing with Brett Favre. Who knows when Aaron Rodgers' time is? But if it wasn't a better situation than right now for him to go to the Super Bowl, who knows what next year is going to look like? But this season with the blowing up even more of Devontae Adams. The defense was playing decent. I mean, decent enough.
And Aaron Jones is looking to be one of the best running backs in the league. I mean,
exactly.
We talked so much about Aaron Rodgers needing help, so that's why we were cutting him some slack. But I mean, that was pretty much the best team that Aaron Rodgers has fielded talent-wise since his Super Bowl run. So, what are you supposed to do?
You're probably right about that. And you know what? That's another thing about Aaron Jones that we didn't even mention. That guy is stud, and the fact that he fumbled twice in the first quarter and never got back on the field because he had the dropsies. He
got knocked out. He was hurt. He got
hurt my ass. He got benched. He's like, you're out, man. Eric, done, man. Have a seat.
Hey man, that last hit he got when he fumbled, that was a shot because the defensive back went out too. That was it for him.
That's right.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We're gonna have a quarterback carousel going on next year for sure. Deshaun Watson. What does Pittsburgh do with Big Ben? What do the Colts do? And then what happens with Dak? I think the Cowboys are going to re-sign him, but who knows how that situation is going to go.
Did you hear about this one? They restructuring Drew Brees' contract. He don't want to go. So what's going to happen with Winston now?
Yeah,
he's not going to get signed because they signed Taylor. So
yeah.
And man, what's
I think he going.
Next want to stay, man.
Yeah.
Drew is done.
Drew is restructuring that contract just so they can work out their money situation. But there is no way he's coming back. He couldn't get the ball down. They had to bring in Jameis Winston to throw a downfield pass. It's bad. You got to bring in your third string, according to the Saints, to throw a long distance pass.
You know what fears me, even though they got salary cap issues? What if the freaking Saints would end up grabbing him under the table? I would lose it if they got Watson. That's it. They're Super Bowl all over the place, man. That's it.
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope not either.
Yeah, $24 million. Thank you for that, Big Illinois. Shout out to you. $24 million to $1.4 million for Drew. Yeah, I think that's just a sign that they're trying to, get him off the books. Who cares about the Giants? Says
the same people that care about them damn Raiders.
Yeah, no one cares about that. I listen. Look, I give Vern a hard time with this Giants, but there is no way I'm going to tell that that I respect the Raiders more than the Giants. I mean, that is an absolute zero fact. The Raiders are a trash franchise. They have done absolutely nothing since the 80s when I was about -10, 15 years old. So let's stop with the Raiders. They were close. They were close. They gave you a speckle of hope, but just like recently, the hope is gone. That's it. They're Jokeland. It's the Jokeland Raiders all over again.
Big Illinois just gave you a gift, Jordan.
The Lions are worse.
Absolutely.
Jacksonville's worse. The Jets are worse. There's plenty of worse out there.
Hey, but one thing, and I don't want to say too much about it because this is not about them. One thing about the Giants, the defense is young and they played good this year. They only got blown out one game. That was the 49ers game. After that, they was in every game. It's just the offense couldn't put the winning points on the board at the end of the game for them to have more than 6 wins. But, hey, I give them kudos, man. I give Judge kudos, man, because he's a coach. Everybody talk, special team coach. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? He came up under Belichick and Saban. He was at Alabama and New England. Them are the best two places you can be following coaches with coaching tradition. True. So he learned. He learned as a young kid. And he came in there with that fire, which we never had in Giants land since Parcells. And probably Conklin. But Strahan told Conklin, hey, we don't mind following you, but all this here G.I. Joe stuff got to stop.
Well, hopefully he goes the Brian Flores route and not the Matt Patricia route. Which, I mean, he has at the time you guys. he was making some pretty good calls. That one, I mean, it was a couple of plays where I was even shocked that he even called. So I mean, I think they're looking in the right direction. So let's get to the prediction of tomorrow's game. I'll kick it off. I'm going with the Chiefs in a close one. I don't really like doing scores, but I'll say 31-27. I just don't see Tom's age showed like 2 years ago. So now we're 2 years advanced. It's another added week. And I think the Chiefs are gonna have a game plan that's gonna be too big for Tampa Bay. So I'm going with the Chiefs. Jordan, I'll go to you. I think I know what you're gonna say.
Ben, you were doing so well until you got that prediction out there. Come on, man. But no, in all seriousness, I mean that's a really great pick. I mean, I can't blame you. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback on the planet. But with all that being said, there's absolutely no way that I'm going to be rooting for the Chiefs to do anything in the Super Bowl. That is just strictly against my code. So by default, Tampa Bay will win, and Brady will get yet another ring.
Okay. And breaking news, according to A-Trap, Aaron Rodgers wins the MVP of the National Football League. I would have loved for it to go on to Derrick Henry. I mean, 2,000 yards, I get it. But it's a quarterback-driven league. We all know that. And the writing was on the wall that he was going to get it.
Right.
But Jason, I'll go to you.
Yeah, just to that point real quick. I mean, you run for 2,000 yards. I think everybody who has won the MVP. But yeah, look, Aaron Rodgers, 48 touchdowns, 5 picks. So I get it, but I also get what you're saying, Ben. So I wouldn't have been mad either way. But Rodgers got an MVP, and he probably could have won, 3 more that, we didn't even give him credit for. As far as the game goes, man, it's almost impossible to pick against Patrick Mahomes. He's only lost 9 games in his entire career. The guy's amazing. Wow. I mean, it's really, really sick what he does. And I'm watching last year, my 49ers are in there, and they're rushing him, getting to him all over the place, Nick Bosa, everything, but he keeps making it happen. He keeps running it for a 10-yard first down, or he's throwing the ball to Travis Kelce or whoever it may be down the field, and it boggles my mind. And the defense steps up in the playoffs. But Tampa Bay has been on a roll. Like Jordan mentioned, they won 3 road games, and 2 of them were in New Orleans and Green freaking Bay, all right? So Tom Brady doesn't have fear of going anywhere, nowhere, and they're actually at their home stadium. Take it for whatever it's worth, but they're home. So,
I think that's the first time in history, by the way, that's happened, if I'm not mistaken.
You're 100% right, bro. It took 55 freaking years for it to happen. So there you go. And it did. So it's like, I mean, forget about even the on-field stuff. It's almost like this cosmic karma thing that's happening right now with Brady, where he's going to win. Not he, but the team is going to win because I like the defense better. I believe that they will be able to create a turnover or 2, which is really hard for Mahomes to do. But again, if Brady and them, as long as they keep running the football, even if they don't have a ton of success at running it for 3 yards at a clip, they'll be able to work off play action and take care of that defense and score. So I'm going to give them 33 points to Kansas City's 28.
Okay.
With Brady as
you almost got my thunder on that. I look at it like this, it's hard to say that Kansas City gonna lose a game, but never say never any given Sunday. And then I look at Tampa. Eli Manning went through San Francisco, Green Bay, Dallas, the 2 Super Bowls. I mean, all these games on the road. You know what I'm saying? Underdogs. Good defense, great offense, and he beat these teams at their home field. And went to 2 Super Bowls and won both Super Bowls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Eli Manning way. And the only reason I'm taking the Eli Manning way is because the game is going to be 27-26 with about 2 minutes and a half left in the game. That Tampa Bay defense is going to make a turnover, but they're going to have 3 timeouts left. They're going to make a turnover. So that means Kansas City got to try to move the ball. They're going to make a turnover. Brady going to get the ball. They're going to score. And the reason I say they're going to win 33-27 because I got Kansas City 7 and Tampa Bay 3 on the squares.
Yeah.
I win. They win. Brady win in 7. Not that I want him to win in 7. I want Patrick Mahomes to win. But you can't count a home team out, man. They got all the momentum this whole week. They're home. People all in their ears. Hey, we need this. We want this. Y'all great. They've been relaxing by the pool. Kansas City back in Kansas City with the snow. You know what I'm saying? If I was Andy Reid, I would have been in a hot climate like in Arizona waiting for this game. So when they get to Tampa, they'll be used to the warm. They're going to go there and they used to that warm. That humidity is going to bring them down a little bit as far as breathing. I was a track man. I know that. It's going to bring them down as breathing. And they're going to win 33-27, man. Big ups to the Buccaneers for doing the Giant thing and beating David.
All right. I don't see
Goliath or David. Which one went down? Which one's the Giant?
Goliath.
Yep.
I'll bring that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning heavily, and my pick is the Chiefs. I think this is Mahomes' time. I mean, at some point, the GOAT has to make his exit, and I think this is it right here. I know he said he wants to play till he's 45 or whatever, which he can do, whatever he wants. I mean, he's probably the healthiest quarterback in the league. So, I mean, if anybody could, he could. But I just think the Chiefs have this is their time. They're destined for this. Now, the flip side of this being a home game, quote unquote, is how many people are truly going to be there. Because you talk about the amount of the pricing for these tickets is not like $45. We're talking about 8,000, 20,000. So how many Bucs fans are truly going to be there? I know it's going to be comfort, but how many Bucs fans are going to be there?
Millionaires is giving away tickets because of this pandemic. They want people from Tampa that's true fans to be at the game. They're giving away tickets. They're buying tickets so Tampa can have the home field. It's not just about the home field. This is a special team. Everybody say Brady, 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 Brady. It's not all Brady. That team stepped up when Brady wasn't stepping up this year. You know what I'm saying? You have some athletes on Tampa that's hungry. They don't know nothing about defeat. They want to win. This is the biggest game of probably half their life. And then another thing. Remember how Baltimore started out running on yeah. You see how they started running and then they stopped running? Yep. You got to keep pounding. They got 2 backs. Who the hell gonna stop Fournette? And Jones run crazy. He got all that. He just run crazy. If you keep pounding in the heat, like I said, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, man. I mean, I want Pat to win, but it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, see, I ain't got no dog in this race, guys. I don't care. Yeah. I really just want to see a great game, and no matter what, I don't think either one's legacy is going to be tarnished because Patrick won forever, and Brady's already solidified. I saw that somebody had wrote 25,000 fans. That's how many fans are allowed to be there. But like you said, Ben, how many are going to be Buccaneer fans? So I get you on that one. But go ahead.
Real quick, I just want to say I kind of agree with Chief's point because they are giving away tons of tickets. I think they're giving away to nurses and to people that were involved with helping with COVID. So I mean, who knows if they're giving away tons of them in Tampa? That could be a good point. Now, if it's all over the country, obviously, they're probably not going to do that for COVID reasons. But go ahead and shout out to Jameis Davis. Thank you for coming through. But go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, again, I go back to Jordan. It's so hard to beat Patrick Mahomes. You know this better than anybody. So it's like almost impossible to see him lose the game. And it's almost nothing that he can't do. But that's why football is the ultimate team sport. You got 11 guys on each side, and every single player has to do their job 100% perfectly in order for the play to execute. That don't happen, you got problems. So when you bring in backups and they're in the Super Bowl and the lights are shining, it's like, holy shit, what the hell's going on over here? It could be a little startling. And, you get a team that, look, I know that Kansas City can come back from basically any lead, but a team like Tampa, if they can somehow take a 14-point lead early in the first quarter, if they can, they may be a team that doesn't look back, again, because of that defense. And the fact that Travis Kelce is such a huge part of this game, fellas, he's going to have to chip a lot, which is going to take him off his route. So it's going to be more Tyreek Hill, where, you know, you're having a man-on-man, but then, of course, you got help over the top. They're going to have to get so creative. And you talk about head coaching for Todd Bowles, not next year, but the year after. Same thing is going to basically be going for Eric Bieniemy. This is another amazing audition for him. If he can pull this out and call these great plays, I mean, you just got to bow down, man.
Yeah. And I think, too, another good point is a lot of these guys are, looking for their next opportunity and looking for their next job. And this is, a great job interview. But also, Chief, you touched on this earlier. Eric Fisher, the left tackle, is out. He tore his Achilles the last game.
Right.
Whoever the backup is, and whoever's rushing on that side is going to be a problem all night long. I don't know. I was going to look up the depth chart to see who that guy is, but
I think I got it. I think it's Martinez Rankin.
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at this guy coming in that hasn't probably played the majority of the year, and you play Super Bowl night, that is your first. I mean, maybe he got a couple of games in, a couple of kind of garbage minutes, but to be able to have to come in like this, that's going to be hard. That's a solid point.
Pressure bust pipes, and there's going to be a lot of pressure tomorrow, and a lot of pipes going to get busted tomorrow. We're going to see who's the real man tomorrow.
Shout out to Overton Claiborne. Thank you for coming through. Talking with OC is the name of his podcast. Make sure to check that out. Kansas City has a lot to overcome for this one game. That's interesting. That's an interesting comment. Now, and I think the Chiefs have played around throughout this season. I don't think they're going to have that type of mentality going into this, but you cannot do that with Tom Brady. You got to play, you got to play the full minutes, and you cannot allow any downtime, because Tom Brady's going to do everything he can, to pick the team apart.
Yeah.
So we all gave our predictions. I think tomorrow's going to be a great game. We did have the NFL honors. We're going to move on to that. If anybody had anything else they wanted to add on to the Super Bowl.
The one thing I just wanted to last. Oh, Jordan, let me really quickly just say this, and then you close it. You take it home, bro. The other thing that could help Kansas City with their offensive line issues is running the ball. Actually, that will be able to mix it up and confuse Tampa a little bit. So they're definitely gonna have to try to run the ball. And you mentioned Darrell Williams before. That dude's a tank, man. He can freaking run. So he's a truck. So I expect them to run the ball more than we would think normally. But go ahead, Jordan. My bad, brother.
I mean, my opinion is, one team is looking at this, Kansas City. They need to be not somewhat pass happy, but they definitely need to go, no huddle and just kind of make sure that they keep the scoring up. And then you got the other team that's really going to need to focus on the running so that their defense can rest up so they can stop Mahomes. So it's fun. I'm kind of seeing, the kind of what the keys to winning. Kansas City, if they want to win, just keep on putting in the pressure. Keep on doing your 2-minute no huddle offense. Keep definitely doing up tempo. Tampa Bay, slow tempo, slow and steady wins the race. It's going to be a very great game, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too. And I think it couldn't have been a better storybook matchup. The NFL couldn't have written down at the beginning of the year a better situation than this one right here. And I think this one will have the most ratings ever because everyone is literally at home.
Yeah.
Every single day this week, they said that people have been saying, do not go and meet in a group. Stay at your house and watch the Super Bowl. So if half of the people listen, I mean, there's going to be tons of people watching the game, by themselves at home or whenever. So it's very I think it's going to be a very good game. And I'm looking forward to the commercials too. I'm a big I like the commercials, see what what they're gonna bring up. The thing is, though, I don't know if you guys heard about this. A lot of companies are not gonna do commercials. They're gonna use that money and give it to COVID relief. So we won't see a Budweiser commercials from what I'm hearing. They're pretty standard of doing a commercial. And who knows whoever else we may or may not see. The one thing I do hope is that we see a Marvel commercial of some type.
Yeah,
I love Marvel movies. you got to give us something because we really haven't had anything. I mean, we had WandaVision, that which is on Disney Plus, but we haven't really had anything movie wise. I don't think in all of 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Morbius. I don't know if that came out or coming out next year or this year, I should say.
I mean, if I'm not,
what's that, Jordan?
Oh no! I just wanted to interject. I think if I'm not mistaken, people are still wondering what's going to be happening with that Black Widow movie.
Oh right, that was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
How about James Bond? James Bond's supposed to be out.
Yeah, James Bond.
But I heard that Black Panther 2 is still a go. Black Panther 2 is still on. Even though passing and everything, but I think that might be the next big one. I think so. I hope so.
Yeah. I know they're working on it. So yeah, we'll definitely see. So we had the NFL honors tonight, which I forgot it was tonight, but perfect.
And the Hall of Fame.
So, and the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And before we go any further, Drew Pearson. Shout out to Drew Pearson, man. If anybody's seen the video from last year, his heart was crushed. I mean, I thought he was gonna just run to his basement and cry because they had that camera on him for so long, and he was like, "Man, get this camera out of my face. I'm pissed off." So he will be going into the Hall of Fame. We'll touch on those in a minute. But Rookie of the Year, Justin Herbert. I like that. I kind of like Justin Jefferson too, the way he lit it up this year.
Right.
But Justin Herbert from week 3 or 4, man, he just ran with it. I mean, it didn't look like he had any delay or any issues with playing quarterback in the NFL. So I would give it. I think he's deserving of it. I think you could have gave it to Justin Jefferson too. But anybody got any thoughts? Jordan, I'll go to you first. Look like you wanted to say something.
Justin Herbert was a fantastic choice for Rookie of the Year. I mean, this kid, surprised a lot of people. I mean, we were talking about, when he was coming out of the draft, he wasn't like the hot quarterback, right? Everyone was talking about the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow going over there. But, Justin Herbert, he made himself a name. He's going to be one of those quarterbacks that we're going to be looking at as the next guy. Just like Patrick Mahomes was a little bit underrated, when he went to Kansas City. So the AFC West, if whether, Denver sticks with Drew Lock or if we get Deshaun Watson, the AFC West could be a very tough division to go to play against, very soon. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to be happening for the next upcoming years to come with that division.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone else want to touch on Justin Herbert, or did you think it was somebody else, Jason?
Go ahead.
Or Chief?
Go ahead.
As far as this cat, man, I seen him. See, a lot of people like when I do my show, I like to put college in there, man, because I was big time. I went to Ohio State, so I was big time college, man. Right? I seen him play with Oregon. Oregon did not really show this man true talents. They wanted to do that read option and all that. When he was a straight up pocket passer, if he ain't got nothing, he can run the ball. He didn't get his opportunity in Oregon. That's why his draft stock went down. I think he should have been higher in the draft. So what he did last year was show a lot of teams that drafted and left him where he ended up at with I keep calling him San Diego, with the Chargers. He just had a grudge on his shoulder. The kid is nice. He's definitely nice. And he played. It ain't like he played a lot of sorry teams. He played some tough defense, and he would put the ball and score up on him. So I see a bright future for him. And I big ups to Anthony Lynn for allowing him to stay out there and play because he could have easily brought Tyrod Hill back in the quarterback.
Back in the fold, yeah. When he came back from that injury, he said, "This is our guy." And I mean, you gotta ride with the hot hand. If he started messing up, he started throwing 3 picks a game, then I think you would have had to go back to Tyrod. But that freak accident, I'm gonna say quote unquote freak accident, couldn't have happened at a better time for Justin Herbert.
I said Hill, but it's Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor,
They poked him in the chest, Tyrod Taylor, and the rest is history. Yeah, you can't go backwards after that point, especially after what you saw. I know they were losing games. So it all depends where you go. And he landed in a spot where there was a good offense. And things clicked. And he is a good quarterback, so it's a perfect marriage. But they got to fix their defense if they're going to do anything. I have no problem with him winning the award. But I have two other guys in mind. Justin Jefferson was definitely one. I probably would have went with him because you even have, Thielen on the other side. Yeah, he's a threat, but he's no Stephon Diggs, obviously. So Jefferson did a great job. But an undrafted guy, I mean, on a crap team, James Robinson was freaking amazing this year. Now, I didn't see him getting any votes because, again, Jacksonville Jaguars are not drafted, but I definitely would have, thrown him in the mix. But again, no problem with Herbert, but I would have probably gone with Jefferson from Minnesota.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the yards that he put up with that quarterback. I mean, I know a lot of people have mixed reviews on Cousins, but Cousins was just throwing the ball up and he was going and getting it. He was catching balls across the middle. Yeah. So I mean, I would have. And James Robinson, we did a lot of fantasy shows. James Robinson saved a lot of people in fantasy, but in real life, I mean, he was the starting running back the entire year. The fact when Fournette was gone, I was looking at the roster like who's going to take Fournette's spot, and he came in and did his thing. So I think he should have got more of a look. I don't think he would have gotten it, but definitely got more of a look. Defensive Player of the Year. Nobody should be surprised. Aaron Donald. This guy's a freak. This guy is, you may think people may say he's a defensive tackle, so maybe he's fat. If you see this dude with his shirt off, this dude is ripped.
He can play all across the line.
He's a Greek god. I mean, let's be real. The guy's built like a Greek god. I mean, again, defensive player of the year. I think he had 13 and a half sacks this year. I know he gets doubled and even triple teamed and everything. And good for him. I mean, look, obviously he's one of the best defensive players in the game, there's no question. You could even thought about giving it to Jalen Ramsey. He locked down every single top wide receiver that was out there. But I mentioned Tyrann Mathieu before, a guy, again, for Kansas City who basically just roams around, follows the quarterback's eyes, whatever it is, reads plays. I thought that he deserved that. I don't know if he got any votes, but Aaron Donald, I mean, but is he going to win it every freaking year?
Maybe.
Hey, he's a man child.
He really is.
The way things are going, he may.
I've seen him, and don't want to pick on Ben team. I've seen him push the Dallas Cowboy lineman on the ground and got to the quarterback.
Oh, he did. I remember that too. He pushed him over like a piece of paper. I remember that.
Hey, but Ben, I'm gonna tell you who Jefferson reminds me of. The guy that made the Hall of Fame finally from your team, Drew Pearson and Lynn Swann. He that type of player. If the quarterback can't get the ball to him, he'll jump over you, go back to get it without a problem, and make the catch. Yeah.
I like that. I like that comparison.
Yeah. And by the way, Drew Pearson, he invented number 88 for the Cowboys. So, I mean, freaking
why is that number not retired? Jerry, I maybe it's just a money thing, but he should have retired that after Irvin. Like, at this point, you just had Drew Pearson and Michael Irvin. You still don't retire it. So then when you give it to CeeDee Lamb, I think CeeDee Lamb is a nice young wide receiver. But that's not that number. Give him something else. Give him 80, 89, 86 or something else. But that's
got to graduate to that level of something,
Leave it up to Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin think he invented the number.
He does, but he wrong. He tripping because Drew Pearson did it before him, many years before him. So, Jordan, you want to say anything about Defensive Player of the Year?
I mean, Aaron Donald is, a no-brainer for me. I mean, what he continues to do in terms of just swallowing quarterbacks whole, it seems like. I mean, obvious candidate for me. Listen, I didn't expect Los Angeles to do anything this year. And the fact that they got to the playoffs, specifically, it's a huge credit to the defense. especially when they took down Russell Wilson in Seattle in that wild card game. Huge props to Aaron Donald, and let's just hope now that Los Angeles can become that Super Bowl contender again, considering that they got a fantastic upgrade in the quarterback position now with Matthew Stafford. That's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen next year.
Yeah, that's going to be that's a major storyline going into next year because they gave up. I mean, they gave up a lot. So I'm not that high on what they gave up for Stafford because I know they're in a win now situation. But Stafford is not. There's no guarantee that you're going to go back to the Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, because I'm going to say, didn't Jared Goff go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
he
did.
I mean, you make it seem like they got rid of some trash, to get this guy Stafford. And if I was to tell you about Stafford, Stafford has a lot of potential, but it's at times Stafford will throw you a game away. He would throw a game away.
He is so much better than people think. It's because he's playing again in the worst
organization. He's playing in Detroit. He was playing in Detroit. Come on now.
Man.
We know.
Is it too late, though? Is it too late?
I seen him play down here in Georgia. He's
the number 1 overall pick, going back 12 years or whatever it is. My point with this is the whole problem that I have with this trade is that if they don't win, forget about going. If they don't win the Super Bowl, then it was all for nothing.
It was a failure.
Where does that put McVay? Where does that put ownership? Whatever it is, and they're screwed. Stafford's not old. He's 33 years old, and he could be around for a good 4 or 5 years. I don't know if it's going to be with LA, but that's the point. You gave away 2 first-round picks and really 3 because Goff was the number 1 overall pick too.
Right.
In order to get Stafford to win everything, okay.
Hopefully it works, but I highly doubt it. And my question is it too late for a change of scenery? The guy's been with Detroit for so long, and the change of scenery does help some guys, does help some quarterbacks. But is it too late in the game for a change of scenery? And time will tell. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go to offensive rookie of the year. That was given to Justin Herbert as well. No surprise there. If you give him rookie of the year, you're going to give him offensive rookie of the year. It's kind of like a shoe in there. AP offensive player of the year, Derrick Henry. I think he deserved it. You got to give the guy something because of what he did.
Right.
Especially he was the everything for that team. If he didn't get going, it was a wrap. I mean, we seen games where he had 64 yards and they lost. And you couldn't. I don't think you can fully depend on Tannehill to win you a game, even though he played a little bit better than last year. But I agree with that one. I think that was fair. I think you had to put him in the conversation to win something because of running for 2,000 yards.
I blame the offensive coordinator for the games he only ran for like 64 yards or less than 100 because you got to feed this man. I mean, just because Cleveland jumped out on you with a big lead, you don't go pass for pass offense. You got to run that ball because the more he runs, he's weighing down the defensive lineman and linebacker. I think they should have been running him instead of off tackle or up the middle. They should have been getting around the edges. Let them cornerbacks come up and taste a little bit of this honey.
I don't know, and that brings me. They hired Nick Sirianni from Indianapolis. I find that to be just like just a very interesting trait, very interesting move right there. Was it? Oh no! Wait, am I talking about Arthur? No, Arthur Smith went to Atlanta. Excuse me.
Right.
Yeah.
Sirianni went to the Eagles.
Went to the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Went to the Eagles. There you go.
Yeah.
Getting all these mixed up. I'm hearing all these names. I'm like, yeah, they did like, I mean, the offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith. Sorry. So just let me just say that real quick. He is apparently like, the quarterback whisperer for Ryan Tannehill, which is a bunch of BS because I saw Tannehill in Miami and he did a good job. And he just went to a better team with a better running back and somewhat of a better defense, a better offensive line. So my point is that this guy Arthur Smith gets a job based off of a running back, which you ain't got now when you get to Atlanta. So Why make that move? I really don't get that move right there, fellas.
I don't either. I mean, what you did for Tannehill is not worth getting a head coaching job. I'm sorry. Well, I mean, it's not if he went from like most improved player to MVP. Right. No, he just went from most improved player to the same guy the year after. So I mean, like,
and having I don't get that at all. Yard back. I mean, what? Come on now, I mean, he's not going to coach that. I mean,
I've been down here in Atlanta for 21 years. Half the stuff they do, I don't understand. When he took over the team from the Smiths, he said, "I want citizen-type players. You're not going to get that. 1 year, Vic needed wide receivers. You had Randy Moss and Terrell Owens as free agents. Both of them wanted to come here and play with Michael Vick. Did he go after him? No. He didn't go after him. He don't want the bad guy here. I mean, you better bring something here. Your team ain't doing nothing, and you don't want to bring players in here that can help you win. Come on now. And he still got that mentality. Look at the coach he bring in. Why you couldn't go out here? This city right here has a great fan base. I always kid these guys about their teams. I don't like no Atlanta, no college team. Only college team I like is Georgia State, and that's a guy that listens to our podcast show named Sluggo. That's an Alabama. I go see their game. That's the only team in Georgia I like. The rest of these teams in Georgia, I do not like. And one thing about the Falcon fans, they are very loyal. But how much could you take? You know what I'm saying? 2 Super Bowls you go to. Good teams you go in there with. One Super Bowl you're winning. And then you lose. And then you're going to bring a guy in here to coach your team that was the offensive coordinator that had an all-world back. You're going to bring him in here to coach Julio and them? Matt Ryan's on his last leg. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to get traded too. I mean, maybe he will.
Shanahan won him, but I don't know if the Falcons want to pull that.
No. Thanks for coming there, bro. No, I don't want him. But no, for what I hear, I think it's too much of a cap hit if they get rid of him or Julio Jones. So I think they're stuck in for another year anyway. So thank God.
Yeah. Jordan, did you want to add? You wanted to add something in?
No, I mean the hire of Arthur Smith to the Falcons, it's just a head scratcher to me because as we're all saying, there are other great quality head coaching candidates that should have been given a look. But Arthur Smith, yes, he got Matt Tannehill to whatever he was doing with Miami to whatever he was doing with Tennessee. I mean, the peak of Ryan Tannehill was of course getting to the AFC Championship game last year, but he hasn't done anything of note this year. I mean, he was just the same exact guy. And so you bring up this Arthur Smith kid who had Derrick Henry and who won't have Derrick Henry now, and you're expecting him to do something. I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
That's a project. He's taking on a project. There's no I hope that ownership is not thinking they're like a coach away or something away from going back to the Super Bowl, because they're not. That's the thing. All right, let's go to Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm no surprised. Chase Young. I think the minute that he came into the league, the award already had his name on it. Because
I know.
I don't think it was going to go to anyone else. I think he has put up good numbers. I think him being in Washington has been big, and that he is really helping to bolster up that line. But he is a young beast, so I'm not going to doubt him there. But there's some other names. Winfield, I know Winfield had some injuries though, so I don't know if you could have given it to him. But go ahead, Chief. I know you chomping at the bit.
Well, that's my alum. The Ohio State. I'm mad at the Giants for winning that game that past season, because we was in position to get him, and we won the game too many, and Washington ended up getting him. So I'm still mad at the Giants about that, because that would have really helped our defense, man. Because he's a beast. A lot of people looked at him his last couple of games with Ohio State saying, well, he ain't all that. He's slowing down. I said, man, you wait till you get to the NFL. You see a whole different Chase Young. You know what I'm saying? He get around the right people to teach him different stuff than he's not getting taught here at Ohio State. You want just like them Boa boys. Only thing about it, Chase don't use steroids. You know what I'm saying? Both. That's why them Bolton boys can't stay on the field because they was juicing up throughout Ohio State. I mean, they're my alum. I love them. You know what I'm saying? For the little things they did there, but they sold us out. Both of us sold us out. They seen it. They last year of being with the team. They didn't play it. So
yeah, true.
And right now they playing half the time. You know, but Chase Young is showing you what hard work, determination, and a good family will do to a player that has that motivation and that skill set. He has a skill set of rushing the quarterback better than a lot of people I've seen coming out of college football in the last couple of years.
I agree.
Very well said. Very well said. Yeah, could you imagine, you got this 21-year-old kid across from you and you're like an NFL veteran, you're like 28, 29, and he's beating the piss out of you all game. That's got to be really embarrassing.
That's got to hurt.
That definitely. Ben, the only other guy I had in mind, the guy that I picked, and Chase Young deserves it, so I'm not going to argue, but I thought that Patrick Queen for the Ravens was going to have a shot because they had a good defense to begin with, and I thought that, maybe he would be able to get some turnovers, which are things that stand out, there's a few sacks here and there, whatever it may be. And he did have a really good season, as a matter of fact, but no argument, man. Chase Young is a freaking monster and is the anchor as a rookie of that Washington line, which is the only reason they went.
Incredible.
True. And you're right. Patrick Queen, I had him, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago on 3rd and 3. Jason, we were talking about this. And I think, he should have, I'm sure he was in the conversation. He had 102 tackles, 3 sacks, 1 interception. He's going to be a staple in that defense for years to come. So
I agree.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to comeback player of the year. I think you guys know what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Alex Smith. I think you had to. The fact that his leg was so torn up that he could have lost his leg, and then he came back and he was still limping. I was so nervous watching any of his games because if he would have got hit wrong again, who knows what would have happened. So he's got guts to come back. I'm sure his wife and his kids were like, "Daddy, don't go play again. We don't want you to lose your leg." I mean, that was a real conversation I'm sure he had to have with his family. But he better retire after this year. You have nothing else to prove. Nothing else to prove, and you will not have a starting job. So go into coaching if you want. Go maybe go to Urban Meyer's staff if you want to do that. Go do something else, but do not come back and play for the Washington football team or anybody else, please.
Hell no. Yeah, that first game, the Rams sacked him like 6 times, guys, and every time they sacked him, I'm like, oh my God, jeez, I'm like cringing over here. So yeah, look, bro, what he did is incredible and proved to the world that you can really do anything that you put your mind to and whatever. But please be done. Go enjoy the rest of your life.
Yeah,
I don't call it a comeback player of the year award. I call it the comeback food of the year award. You see Joe Donovan ain't trying to come back. And you know what? Why the Giants keep hurting up quarterbacks like that?
Y'all got a thing. They got a thing for that.
Yeah, and I mean, what he did was heroic, but did you really have to? Every time he played, man, all I thought about every time he played was they going after that leg. They going after that leg.
Man.
You know?
That's the same thing I was thinking. I was like, please, nobody fall on his leg. Do everything you can. And I'm sure they were watching on the sideline cringing too, that whole coaching staff. And then you talk about their coach that survived cancer and he's now cancer free, Ron Rivera. There was, and then they changed the name. Like the Washington football team had a lot of stories last year. The owner going through some sexual abuse allegations. They changed the name, Ron Rivera with cancer, and then Alex Smith. Like, man, it was and then they still made the playoffs. They won the worst division in football, So I mean, like that was a wild season for them for sure.
And that's a testament to not only Alex Smith's, I'm sure, his comeback definitely fueled that team. And Ron Rivera, he's one of the he definitely deserves my respect as being one of the underdog coaches that no one is talking about. And, culminating with that with Chase Young's ascendance, I mean, Washington has a bright future. And I never thought I would have to say that on air, before after this regular season, when I was talking about my predictions, but Washington is on it. They have a bright spot. They have a bright future, and I'm excited for them.
Yeah, they're on the rise now. They are going to have to figure out their quarterback situation, which they should be on the phone with Houston.
Yeah,
like whatever you got to do to try to get that resolved. So, that was another award. Coach of the Year. You guys agree with this one, Kevin Stefanski. Man, what they were able to do, which I had them going to the playoffs, the Browns, that is. That first year that they looked really good. I think they went 8-8 that year. But I don't know. I think get that playoff win off of their back to also really look like, honestly, the best team in that division, the best put together team.
They almost beat Kansas City.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think you got to give the award to him. I was very interested to see how it was going to work out. What kind of relationship he was going to have with Baker. And then having those two running backs like that right there is the reason why they were so great. They were just a 1-2 punch that you couldn't stop.
The Falcons almost beat Kansas City, so that ain't a big achievement. You know what I'm saying? In Kansas City at that. But no, you know what? I mean, he did a good job, but do you think he did a better job than Brian Flores?
That's a good question.
Miami won 10 games. They could have went to the playoff, but the numbers game got them. You never know what they would have did in the playoff if they would have made it. They was like percentage points away from not making the playoffs.
Hey, look, I'm a huge Brian Flores fan, man. I'm a tremendous fan of his. I think that he's amazing. And Jordan, I know you love what I'm going to say right now, but Kevin Stefanski and them won 11 games. They were 6-10 last year, and he won a game not even being on the freaking field coaching it. So that just goes to show you that what he's saying is reminiscing throughout the team, and it's filtering throughout the team. And the fact that he knows that you need to run the ball to win, and you got two starters, really, two number ones that can do it, and you can switch them on and off and try to keep them healthy and let Baker work off the play action, keep building that defense. Yeah, this was the first year since I can remember. I really have no idea. This is the first year that I actually picked them preseason to go to the playoffs because I believe they had the right coach who's been around for a while, and they had the right tools. When OBJ went out, that was addition by subtraction. Didn't have to worry so much about getting him the ball. Let's run the ball 35, 40 times, whatever it takes to get the job done. And they exceeded expectations, even mine. That Pittsburgh game, you want to call it a fluke, whatever. I don't care. It reminded me of the Seattle Bronco Super Bowl where the first one.
Don't bring that up. Please don't bring that up.
Right? No. But no, yeah, Jordan, honestly, you should be at least happy and proud and have something to look forward to with this team now.
Absolutely. See, I'm going to break down this sentence for you. 11-5, playoff win against one of your hated rivals, Cleveland Browns. Tell me, gentlemen, when was the last time you heard that sentence ever ushered on radio or on air?
Not in my lifetime.
Definitely not in my lifetime, gentlemen. So Kevin Stefanski was the obvious choice. Yes, I love Brian Flores, and he is going to take Miami and do something incredible with Tua Tagovailoa, but Kevin Stefanski was the obvious choice here.
The reason I'm going to let you go, Ben, but the reason I have this argument, right? Okay, Cleveland only lost one critical player, and that was OBJ. And then you can really say they didn't lose nobody because by him going out, they didn't have to worry about Baker game because Baker was getting fed up with OBJ, right? Okay, with Miami lost 4 key offensive player. And it's a young team. Flores took them last year, got rid of all these players, good players, off the team because they had bad work habit. Fitzpatrick, the safety for Pittsburgh. I mean, he was highly drafted out of Alabama. He was one of the best safe corners in the league when he played at Alabama.
Yep.
All these players is leaving because they didn't want to go by the work assignments and schedule that Flores had. They felt that he was too hard-nosed. He didn't care. He said, "You don't play by my rules, bye." They got draft picks. They got younger players that stepped up and want to play. He got this team right here, this Miami Dolphin team. Tell me, besides the quarterback, the backup quarterback, who's older than him or who's up in his age level? Nobody. Everybody on that team was young. Yeah. And to take a young team like that and go to some hostile places, even though fans wasn't there, but just to take them on the road and play and win, that's big, man. I understand what Cleveland did, and they haven't. The last time Cleveland was in the playoffs, I seen them. Ernest Biner and the other cat that was running back, they fumbled against Denver when Elway was there. They fumbled the ball, and that took them out of from going to the Super Bowl or even moving on to get to the game to go to the Super Bowl. So that was 2 years they did that when they had Brian Sykes. But that was a long time ago. But at the same time, when the last time Miami been?
Yeah,
I would say it was relatively recently. I want to say like early 2010s, but I guess and I completely get it. Miami had scraps and turn them into something. So that is something I will give Brian Flores a lot of credit for. Mm-hmm. But my point is, Kevin Stefanski did something with Cleveland. They gave them hope that they have not had for a very, very long while. So that when I see legacy, when I see story with that, that's why I'm not against Kevin Stefanski winning Coach of the Year. Does Brian Flores deserve a second place? Absolutely, and that margin is very close. It's not widespread whatsoever. But Kevin definitely, in my opinion, won the Coach of the Year. And you know what? I hope Brian Flores wins Coach of the Year next year. I hope Miami gets to the playoffs because he has got this Miami organization in the right direction, and I believe they're going to keep on ascending.
Yeah, I mean they're only going to get better, and the amount of picks that they have, whatever they use on those this year is only going to build that team. And you can see Brian Flores is about a certain direction of the team, and like Chief was saying, he's going to come in there and say, "This is how we do things. You come in here, either you do it this way or you go." And I think that's a great mentality to have too.
Yeah.
All right, so
let me just interject real quick. I just want to say, I think maybe the reason why it was probably neck and neck all year, but the fact that the Dolphins didn't make the playoffs and got their ass kicked by the Bills in that game that they needed to win, and Cleveland ended up, getting in on their own merit and whatnot, I think that has something to do with it.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. Good point. All right, so let's go to the Hall of Fame. Well, before we do that, I wanted to mention the clutch performance play of the year was Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins, which I completely agree about that one, man. He has the best hands in the league, arguably the best wide receiver in the league. Everybody puts a lot of other people in the conversation, and he gets left out. But his hands are so sure. In my lifetime, I haven't seen very many people that has hands like that. Because if it goes to any bit of his hands, he's catching it. And he did that with 4 people around him. So I agree with that one. I think that was the biggest clutch play. And honestly, Kyler Murray just threw it up there, just a hope and a prayer that it was going to get somewhere near his hands. And he just jumped up like, he was jumping up out of water and people were around him and they were playing like, water football. And he just jumped up and caught the ball like nobody was there.
Yeah.
And that was on Sunday night.
Yeah, it really was a big one.
Yeah.
So how about the play when Metcalf ran from the end zone and tracked the cornerback down? It was a pick. That was a pick 6 any other time.
I love that too.
I didn't know this guy had that much speed. I didn't know. I mean, he showed speed that I ain't never seen him run like that before.
Yeah, me either. I don't know. I didn't know he had speed like that either. All right, let's get to the 2021 Hall of Fame class. Offensive lineman Alan Finica. Now I think he played for the Steelers. Am I correct? Let me look up.
No, I don't think he played. I don't think he played for the Steelers.
He did. He played for the Steelers the majority of his career, 98 to 2007.
Okay.
He played for the Jets, then he played for the Cardinals. But Alan Finica, and I remember him mainly from Madden. I just remember he was a 99 every single time he got on Madden. But congratulations to him. Also, Tom Flores. You know, there was even a commercial on Tom Flores that he wasn't in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he got in.
It's a little foreshadowing right there.
Exactly. The NFL watched that commercial over and over and over again. Was like, oh well, maybe we should. Calvin Johnson. This is his first ballot, I believe.
That's a surprise to me.
Megatron. Man, I didn't think. I thought he was going to come back because you remember when he retired, there was a lot of stories coming out that he was going to come back and sign with somebody.
Yeah.
But he had a documentary or like kind of a short video just saying like he's not coming back. His body's not the same, playing football. So, but congratulations to him. He deserves it. I mean, the guy with a nickname, Megatron, obviously with all the things he did there with the Lions. John Lynch, no surprise there. Peyton Manning. I think Peyton Manning, he's the first ballot as well.
Well deserved.
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't get into the first ballot, then the NFL should just shut down. I mean, that was
absolutely.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna stop you right there.
Here we go.
Why do we don't want to hear nothing about Eli right now, please?
No. Why do that with him? The NFL shut down. The NFL needs to shut down and reopen when they put Jack Tatum in the Hall of Fame.
Hey, that no doubt.
He should have been in the Hall of Fame. He and it's a highway robbery that they're not doing it, man. It's sad. It's very sad, man.
You know what? It's a lot of people that said, man. Richmond Webb is a guy that I've spoke to. He's the left tackle for the Dolphins in the 90s. He had the Bruce Smith, Kevin Green, Greg Lloyd, Reggie Smith.
Yeah.
And he was the all 90s decade team, and you're not in the freaking Hall of Fame? What else do you want? I mean, sometimes I don't get who they put in there and who they don't.
Yeah, I think it's a personality thing. Like the same thing with T.O. Well, we didn't like him because he didn't talk to us and he wasn't nice. Did he put up numbers? Yes. That's it. Like, I don't care if he was the worst person. I don't care if he spit on you, whatever. Did he put up numbers, which he did? So he should have been in. So, I mean, I think it's just like one of those things where if they don't like you, you don't get in. I think
I'm still waiting for Carl Mecklenburg's call to the Hall of Fame.
Carl Mecklenburg. I love it. Yeah, I just don't understand how Drew Pearson is a Hall of Famer today, but he wasn't a Hall of Famer 15 years ago. Like, come on, guys.
That part I don't get either.
Get it together, man.
The NFL remind me of the NCAA. NCAA has all these old athletic directors that, I mean, they probably wasn't even like that at the dinner table. You know what I'm saying? The final, the 64, the 68 teams that they picked, they should be a whole different committee. Whoever goes to the Final Four in college football, it should be really Final Eight. That should be a whole different situation. The NFL should have players vote for the Hall of Fame. Veteran players that have been in the league for at least 10 years or more that still playing on the team. That should be the players that pick Hall of Fame because, for one, they're looking at what these players did. Because when you go to a franchise, like if you come, say, to the 49ers, you're going to look at all the Montana, Dwight Clark, Craig Rogers, all the people that was great for the 49ers. You're going to look at their film because coaches and ownership are going to say, I want you to look at how our team came up and how we still going. You know what I'm saying? So you've seen how these players played before. That's who should be voting. These people that got out here voting, man, I don't know where they get them from.
Writers. It's writers.
That's
and
right.
if they don't like you, the same thing with Barry Bonds. If you go to Major League Baseball, they didn't like Barry Bonds. He juiced. I get it. The thing with, and this is a tangent, the thing with juicing though, you still have to have hand-eye coordination. Just because you get bigger doesn't automatically make you a better baseball player. I understand it's cheating, but again, you still got to have the mechanics. You still got to be able to hit. You still got to have those things, and that's a conversation, a sidebar conversation.
MLB's most popular time, if I'm not mistaken, was during the power era from 1993 to 2004. That was the steroids era. So why we're so trying to distance ourselves from that, I get it. Steroids. People have opinions about it, but in my opinion, I'd rather watch a slugfest in baseball rather than something that happened, where it's like a 1-0 game. I mean, come on,
really. Shout out to Joseph Sabatino. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate that. And baseball is so old. Like, come on, man. Like you have to eventually. You gotta take that old man mentality and say we got to figure out a way to make this at least second place, because they're third place at this point, and they won't get below. Huh?
If they're lucky, soccer's beating them probably right now.
How you have no Hall of Famers?
Hey, watch out for the NHL.
Yeah, they're on the rise. So two other ones as far as the Hall of Fame. Drew Pearson, we talked about him. And then Charles Woodson, which I think he 100% deserves it, man. Charles did it for so long. At that corner spot. I mean, he went to it was Oakland, was with Green Bay.
Yep.
And he never won a championship though, right? Or did he win one?
No, he won with Green Bay.
Yep.
He won with Green Bay. What happened was, unfortunately, he got hurt in the second quarter and couldn't play the rest of the game. He was so upset, but his teammates are like, "Yo, we're gonna go win this one for you, bro," and they did.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, he definitely deserves to be in. And Drew Pearson again, like I know he is elated. I was listening to 105.3 The Fan, which is here in Dallas. They were interviewing him, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm just hopeful that because they go. I'm assuming they go to the Super Bowl or whatever they have the NFL honors, and I know he's got to be happy tonight to be able to get in, and he deserves it. The original '88. Nobody. I mean, I wasn't living during that time, so maybe Chief, you can answer this, but." How many 88 players with number 88 were that popular before or during the time of before or after Drew Pearson?
Nobody, man. His 88 always stood out because the classy type. And I don't even speak for Dallas like that, but for the classy type player he was, the 88 stood out, and it was nobody unless you're going to say Lynn Swan.
Yeah. He might be the only other one for real. But Michael Irvin let's not kid ourselves. Michael Irvin lived up to the number 88, until he got hurt in Philly that day. He was the team leader. Troy Aikman will tell you that. Emmitt Smith will take it. Darryl Johnson, anybody. He was the team leader. For a wide receiver to be that guy and not be a dick like Terrell Owens is pretty impressive.
Hey, I have the guy that used to do the show with me on Mondays, Dominic Ross. He came out of Valdosta State, right? He still had records down there. He was the first junior to leave Division II school and get drafted by the NFL. He was on the Cowboys. He was behind Emmett and Sherman. What's his name? Sherman, the running back out of Alabama. Sherman.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank. Not Douglas.
Sherman Williams.
Williams. Yeah. Okay.
And he told me stories about how Troy Aikman always wanted him in the backfield on third down, because he said he was picking up the back. And then, whoever come in on a blitz, he always pick him up. Or either he can dump it off to him because he also was a great catcher because he played up under all them coaches, like the coach from the Cardinals, all his proteges that coached him was Dominic coach. I can't think of like Leach and all them guys. They was his coach, and down in Valdosta State. And Hey, man, the guy was just good. He told me some good stories, man. Michael Irvin did his thing, but when he came time to play ball, Michael Irvin was always out there playing some ball. But off the field, oh, it's a different story.
Yeah, the White House. Yeah. I'm sure he has some stories on that too.
Oh man, we used to sit here and talk, man. But yeah, man. Michael Irvin was a beast, and down in Miami, man. I miss those Miami teams, even though I'm not a Miami Hurricane fan. But I just love to play against them because they came to play all the time.
Yeah, true. One of the biggest awards of tonight was the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, which went to Russell Wilson. That couldn't go to a better guy.
Good.
And what he does, man, in Seattle, you see, if you look at his timeline, you see him going to hospitals, you see him giving away. Like, he is very philanthropic. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Very philanthropic in what he does, and couldn't have gone to a better guy. I think it was him. Right. There were some other guys that were in the running, but yeah, Russell Wilson is one of those stand-up guys. And then he's taking care of other people's kids too. Yeah. I mean, at that, so like he's a good guy on and off the field. And I think he's well respected.
Who can he take care of?
Future.
Yeah, Ben, I've always said, it's sacrilegious as a 49ers fan to like Russell Wilson or even root for him. But on and off the field, like you said, man, he is such a special person. You can't not like him.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to not like a guy like him. So, yeah, those are the awards. NFL honors were tonight. Super Bowl is tomorrow. We gave our picks. We gave our takes. I'm looking forward to it. A couple of things I want to touch on before we get out of here, and then we'll kind of go round robin to each of you guys. The Tar Heels beat the Blue Devils tonight. I'm a big Tar Heels fan, so I'm definitely rubbing it in. All Duke fans, if you watching or listening, suck it. Okay? Yeah! I don't care what their records are. This is just one of these type of games where they're going to play knockdown, and they played a great game. Tar Heels did. Also, the Mavs beat the Warriors tonight.
Tell the story on that one, man.
I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they did it, but they did.
Steph Curry had 57 points.
I know.
And they was down by one.
He had 30.
Had the ball.
He had 30 in the first half.
Right.
They should have won that game. Honestly, I don't know how.
Guess who iced the game for Dallas?
Kleber.
Wasn't the backup center or something?
Yep, Maxi Kleber. He's got a nice jumper. So those are a couple things I'll touch on in my sports realm that happened tonight. But Jordan, I'll go to you. Anything you want to leave us with before we go?
Absolutely. I'm first off, Ben, thank you very much for inviting me to the show. I really forgot how fun it was to talk about sports, and just be with my sports community for a minute. I've just been so busy with everything else that's going, just a really nice refresher, talking sports, chilling with everyone on for about a hour and a half, almost 2 hours, by the way.
2 hours, yeah.
But yeah, I'm really hoping that I can get back into it. Some way, somehow, I am not done in the podcasting game, folks. I am still here. Just have to take a little bit of a break, but I will. I'm definitely hoping that Dez, Leo, and myself will be back at some point soon. We will come back stronger, but just need this time to, just kind of bring ourselves back into balance. But I am not retired. I am not going away. Just taking a break, but I'll be back.
All right, nice. I can't wait. You guys' chemistry is on point, and the topics you guys talk about too. Shout out to the NR Hour, Nathan Remachandra. He was on earlier. Me and myself, we were on with Courtney Harden, but shout out to him, doing a great job himself. All right, Jason.
Yeah, Jordan, don't you go anywhere, man. We all need a break, bro. I've taken mine, so when you come back, feel refreshed and do your thing. But as for me, listen again, guys. I do my communication on Twitter at SportsProfit1. The profit is not for financial profit, and the number one is actually the number one. So that's how you can reach me, or at 3rd and 3 Podcast, which is the show that we do Wednesday nights with the Real Deal, Damian Adams, and Tricky Nikki Gist, where she gives us impossible sports trivia questions, but it's better than having something easy. So we like the challenge. We have a great time breaking down the game. So that's Wednesdays. Catch us at 9 o'clock. And then usually I'll do my Power 32 podcast on Thursday. And I try to get professional or, former football players to come on and talk about the certain games and little, idiosyncrasies of it and stuff like that. So I'm always posting it. Just check me on Twitter and you get all the updates, man. Ben, I can't thank you enough, bro. I love coming on this show, man. It is a great platform every time.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Great to have you. Nathan says, I got the Buccaneers winning 37-34. We'll see. I will be doing a recap show on Monday with some of the guys, so we will talk about that then. All right, Chief.
First and foremost, thank you, Ben. To Jordan, I used to be X Squad. I was one of the originals that helped start X Squad. But we're built for this network. I helped create another network. Me, H-Rap B, and DJ Knox. So I'm in another network now. This is my 6th year, the 21st of this month of doing podcasts. I do a podcast show with 3 hours, no breaks, no nothing, just 3 hours of me talking. And a lot of times I do not write down stuff or whatnot. I may just, like something that comes to my mind, I may just put down, don't forget that, to talk about it, but everything comes from here in the heart. My chat room, I rely on them to correct me because I'm not perfect. If I say something wrong or whatever, correct me. I'll let you know. I want you two guys to come on Monday because we definitely got to talk about this. Number is 404-618-2119, 404-618-2119. And come on and talk to me, man. And this thing about me is I can get a lot of great guests. I can get guests like I said, I had Dominic Ross as a host a lot of time. I can get people like my man played for Florida A&M, punt return. He played for Cincinnati. He's a teacher here and coaches football. I can get him. It's a lot of people here in Atlanta that I can get. I can get these comedians. But it is the thing about it is 10-1. They act like they can't come on that early. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't beg nobody. I put it out there to them. If you don't come, you don't make or break my show. I'm going to still do it. And Ben will tell you. Ben, you should come up behind me on Monday. So my show is, I like to laugh. I like to entertain. It's a fun thing, man. I even talk about reality shows. I told the story about Richard Pryor Jr. was on the same ship as I was when I was in the Navy. After I left Ohio State, I went to the Navy because the 2 years there, Ohio State, I was there when Woody Hayes was there. My cousin John Hicks was the blocker for Archie Griffin back in the day. Matter of fact, he won the last Super Bowl with Pittsburgh. He was a Giant and a Steeler. So that's how I got a tryout. I went there on a hurdle scholarship. I got a tryout for the football team because of him. I was on practice squad. Woody said he was going to move me up. But when Woody pulled that boy from Clemson face mask, the linebacker, and hit him in the throat, that was it for Woody Hayes. He should have knew he was gone. They couldn't kick him out because he owned the school, right? They got a street named Woody Hayes. They got a building. So they just asked him to step down with a big, large sum of money. Art Schlichter, freshman, was saying, yeah, I came in. Art Schlichter's father is so rich in the town of Ohio they live in, they call it Schlichterville. He paid the athletic director and Woody to start Schlichter his freshman year, but they had an All-American quarterback named Rod Gerald. You can look this up. Rod Gerald was how they call this the read offense? But back then it was the option offense. You had option of pitching it or running. He was one of the best to pitch it with his left hand and snag it back with his right hand and cut up the field. That's how talented. But they made a wide receiver, split the team. Ohio State went to the Gator Bowl, one of the sorriest bowls they ever been to. I was down there on the sideline. So, to say all that is I'm glad to be with some professional guys, you, Jordan, and Ben. You know what I'm saying? I just like sports. I talk sports. I played all sports. Basketball, baseball, football, ran track. I played a little soccer, in college, intramural. So I was just an athlete coming up. And I just love the game, man. I can sit here with all these gadgets in this is my studio. I can sit there on these gadgets and watch 3 or 4 games. iPad, laptop, TV, desktop, you know. That's how much I'm in. And when all these games came back on and we had baseball, football, basketball all playing, I was sitting there be like a maniac. Wait a minute. You gotta, in order for me to date you, you gotta like sports, man. You know what I'm saying? I tell a lot of these here fly ass women, excuse me, man. I mean, all these fly women, listen, if you don't like sports, I can't deal with you because when I want to watch a game or something, and you know, you talking about I want to run here, run there, I can't do that, you know, because I'm dedicated to sport. But don't get me wrong, I can tape stuff and go on about my business. But a lot of times, I gotta watch it, man. I gotta. Have it.
You gotta watch it live. I hear you. I hear you. Well, I appreciate you guys for coming on. You guys made the cut. Obviously, it was supposed to be 7 people. I don't know what happened to everybody else. I guess they must have fell asleep. But I appreciate you guys for coming on. It was a great conversation. It was a great foursome we had here tonight. Great conversation. Super Bowl's tomorrow. Make sure to check out, and you can call in the Chief Show on Monday. I'll be doing a recap show that night at 10 Eastern. Be right here on all of the BS3 radio platforms. So you guys have a good night, Jordan.
Absolutely.
All right, and Jason, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, Ben, thank you again, man. Like I said, every time I see an invite, I get a big smile and a big thumbs up, man. So I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
Nice. And Chief, man, appreciate you for coming on.
Hey, man, anytime, bro. And you said Wednesday night, y'all come on together? I'm going to have to check that show out.
Yeah, Monday we'll be doing. Well, it won't be Jordan and Jason won't be on. It'll be some other guys that'll be on.
I'm talking about the show that Jason.
Jason. Yeah,
man. 3rd and 3 podcast. We're at 9:00. Show comes out, and bam, we are off to the races. Me, Damian, and Nikki, and you never know what's going to happen, man. So that makes it even more fun. We don't even have a damn script like you.
That's
on the heart and the mind, bro.
Is that on Spreaker?
Yeah, Spreaker, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, all that stuff, man. Yeah, it's all.
Send me the link, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I certainly will. I appreciate that. Get you on as a guest, man. Get the Chief Rock in the house.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
All right, you do the same, man.
All right, peace.
Good seeing you, fellas.
All right,
absolutely. Have a good night.
All right. Later, boys.